So what are they going to do at 2 o'clock? They said
they're supposed to have, but nothing's, just like Shafiq, nothing that she said is happening. So it's as per usual. Absolutely nothing is happening.
Are you an alumnus?
I am not an alumnus. I'm director of End Jew Hatred, Jewish Civil Rights Movement. So I just walked 2 blocks with a mob of about 50, 60 of these individuals while I was standing there with them, walking with them, as they were screaming, "River to the sea, Palestine will be free," calling literally for my genocide as I'm walking 2 blocks with them, which then continued in front of the gates at 116th Street with all of them dancing around, chanting Intifada, Intifada, not knowing what they're talking about.
What does Intifada mean?
Do they realize that
Kill
Intifada
everybody?
means kill the Jews?
It's
Intifada
holy war,
means,
right?
Exactly. Intifada is reminiscent of bus bombings in Israel, killing Jews, reminiscent of the Sparrow pizza bombing, suicide bombing. But they don't know what they're talking about, because this is really what this entire, I don't even want to call it movement, it's pro-terror, pro-Hamas, what these individuals are touting. While I was standing there with them, walking with them, as they were screaming, "River to the sea, Palestine will be free," calling literally for my genocide as I'm walking 2 blocks with them, calling literally for my genocide, calling literally for my genocide, calling literally for my genocide. I'm director of End Jew Hatred, Jewish Civil Rights Movement. I'm director of End Jew Hatred, Jewish Civil Rights Movement. They were screaming, "River to the sea, Palestine will be free," calling literally for my genocide, calling literally for my genocide, calling literally for my genocide.
The promise in Genesis 12, verse 7 isn't from the river to the sea, it's from the river to the sea. To your descendants I have given this land from the river Egypt, that's the Nile, as far as the river Euphrates, all the way towards the Mediterranean Sea. That's the promise given irrevocable, the whole land of Canaan, as an everlasting possession to you and your descendants after you. God repeats the promise later to Isaac, Genesis 26, and also to Jacob, Genesis 28. And Jacob's name is Israel. Isn't that great to know?
Calling literally for my genocide, calling literally for my genocide.
And therefore, I clarify that in any other arrangement, in the future, the state of Israel have to control on the entire area from the river to the sea. This is what happens when you have sovereignty. This truth I say to our American friends. And I also stopped the attempt to impose on us a reality that will jeopardize us. A prime minister in Israel has to be able to say no, even to the best of friends. To say no when you need to, and to say yes when you can. In the future, the state of Israel have to control on the entire area from the river to the sea, from the river to the sea, from the river to the sea.
Calling literally for my genocide, calling literally for my genocide.
Did the president address Netanyahu's use of the phrase "from the river to the sea" in their conversation today? I know the White House has previously said that phrase is divisive, so...
I'm not aware that that specific phrase was discussed.
Do you condemn him using that phrase?
Look, there's a connotation with that phrase. We've talked about this before. But
calling literally for my genocide, calling literally for my genocide.
You said the phrase "from the river to the sea" has been so controversial in the U.S. Today, the son of the prime minister, Netanyahu's son, put it on his social media, "from the river to the sea." How can you explain that? And he said, this is the Israeli flag, "from the river to the sea." So would you condemn
you're
his
asking me
writing?
to speak for the prime minister's son. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
But I'm asking you to comment on this phrase that should be condemned equally. You said that whoever using it is called anti-Semitic, so now it's the prime minister's son who's using it. Is this anti-Semitic?
I haven't seen that happen. I'm not going to speak for the prime minister's son and his social media account. I think you can understand why I wouldn't do that. But look, and Kareem's talked about this, that phrase has a certain connotation, which
while I was standing there with them, walking with them, as they were screaming, "River to the sea, Palestine will be free," calling literally for my genocide as I'm walking 2 blocks with them, calling literally for my genocide, calling literally for my genocide.
This is from the Likud party's charter. So everyone talks about Hamas's charter and how Hamas is calling for a free Palestine and for the end of Israel. Well, the Likud party charter calls for the end of Palestine, for no two-state solution, saying the right of the Jewish people to the land of Israel is eternal and indisputable and is linked with the right to security and peace. Therefore, Judea and Samaria, this is what they call the West Bank, will not be handed to any foreign administration. Between the sea and the Jordan, there will only be Israeli sovereignty. That is their call. So you've got river to sea, Palestine will be free. Likud says between the sea and the Jordan, there will only be Israeli sovereignty. Same phrase. And they're saying Israel is the only country that will exist between the river and the sea. That's it. There will be no other country. And they say a plan which relinquishes parts of Western Eretz Israel undermines our right to the country, unavoidably leads to the establishment of a Palestinian state, jeopardizes the security of the Jewish population, endangers the existence of the state of Israel, and frustrates any prospect of peace. That's the Likud charter. He is set, they say it right there. There will be no Palestinian state. Don't even think about it. It's not going to happen.
The promise in Genesis 12, verse 7 isn't from the river to the sea, it's from the river to the sea. To your descendants I've given this land from the river Egypt, that's the Nile, as far as the river Euphrates, all the way towards the Mediterranean Sea. That's the promise given irrevocable, the whole land of Canaan, as an everlasting possession to you and your descendants after you. God repeats the promise later to Isaac, Genesis 26, and also to Jacob, Genesis 28. And Jacob's name is Israel. Isn't that great to know?
They were screaming, "River to the sea, Palestine will be free," calling literally for my genocide, calling literally for my genocide, calling literally for my genocide.
Joining me now to discuss the student protests at Columbia University is Michelle Adut, Director of Programming and Strategy at End Jew Hatred. Michelle, thanks for joining us. What is your reaction to the nature and scale of this protest?
Well, at this point, I'm not even going to say disbelief, because the nature and scale of this protest is a direct consequence of the lack of accountability and consequences that have been imposed on these pro-Hamas protesters since October 7th at Columbia University. Calling literally for my genocide, calling literally for my genocide. Well, this is just the beginning. These are the consequences that we have been asking. End Jew Hatred as a civil rights movement. Our goal is for everybody to embrace the minority rights of Jewish people. We rallied at Columbia in October with these specific demands, asking from October for professors at Columbia that are spewing the fact that October 7th was exhilarating and awesome. Professors such as Mossad should not be teaching at Columbia. But President Shafiq did not do anything much at all to impose any accountability or consequences. Students are hurting. Students are scared. Students are hurting. Students are scared. Students are terrified to walk across the quad wearing a Jewish star around their neck. Students are terrified to walk across the quad wearing a Jewish star around their neck. Absolutely nothing is happening.
Are you an alumnus?
I am not I'm director of End Jew Hatred, Jewish Civil Rights Movement. So I just walked 2 blocks with a mob of about 50, 60 of these individuals while students are terrified to walk across the quad wearing a Jewish star around their neck. So I just walked 2 blocks with a mob of about 50, 60 of these individuals while students are terrified to walk across the quad wearing a Jewish star around their neck. It's a terrible, terrible campus culture.
Michelle Adut, Director of Programming and Strategy at End Jew Hatred, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Other students have been spat on for speaking Hebrew. We've seen swastikas drawn on school property.
Columbia University senior Noah Fay, who identifies as a Black Jewish Native American, joined other Jewish students enrolled at Columbia Monday who also say they have either been subjected to or witnessed a rise in anti-Semitism since the Israel-Hamas war began more than 3 weeks ago.
I've seen them parrot foul anti-Semitic tropes.
When I hear about fellow Jewish students being verbally assaulted on side chat and physically attacked in front of Butler Library, I don't feel safe.
Students are terrified to walk across the quad wearing a Jewish star around their neck. It's a terrible, terrible campus culture.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
Excuse me. I heard that people on the news said that Jewish students are living in fear in Columbia.
No comment.
No? I heard that they said that Jewish students are living in fear on campus.
Oh, I don't know about that. I thought you were looking for directions.
Okay.
Sorry.
Excuse me, ma'am. I heard in the news that they said Jewish students are living in fear in Columbia.
I think I won't answer that this time.
No?
Thank you.
All right.
That's also protested about the feminist view.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
Do you want to stay here, Barbara, or can
I can stay.
Are you sure?
Stay,
That's
yeah.
a cool bike, actually.
Thank you.
Let's go see. I'll be right back.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
Excuse me, guys. I heard Jewish students are living in fear in Colombia. Have you seen any evidence of that?
No.
No? Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
I heard they said that Jewish students are living in fear in university. Have you seen any signs of that?
No.
No?
No.
This is School of Journalism, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, there it is. Thank you.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
Excuse me, guys. Have you seen any evidence of Jewish students living in fear in Colombia?
No, sir.
No?
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
Excuse me, guys. Do you know of any like protests at Columbia today?
Oh, not that I know of. I haven't really seen anything going on.
Yeah, it's quiet.
Yeah, they all.
It's nice. It's quite
Yeah,
nice.
everyone's gone for break right now, so it's like fewer things are happening.
Oh, but in the news they said that there's like a lot of activity at Columbia and
Yeah.
NYU.
Oh.
I went down to NYU. It's the same thing. They said Jewish students are living in fear. You haven't heard anything like that?
I mean,
I walked around, everything is quiet, no protests.
Yeah, it is quiet today. Yeah, I don't know.
I thought I'd see a student from the School of Journalism.
Yeah, yeah.
Take care, you too.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. safe. I don't feel safe.
Do you know of any protests pertaining to this anywhere?
Do I know of any protests?
Yeah.
I'm not sure of right in the general area. There were some. I was up in the Boston area. There were some in Harvard, and there were some in Yukon.
No, specifically for Columbia.
Not
no?
that I know of. No.
Yeah, I went on the campus. It's very quiet.
Is it?
Have you seen anything?
Not here. Not here. I haven't.
Only in Boston, you said?
Yeah, up in Boston for sure.
I heard there's something at Herald Square. I'm gonna go down there.
Is it? Thanks for
Take care.
that.
I think Matt came down here. Yep. I think they're at the
Mommy.
Yes, my love.
You listen what I do.
Other students have been spat on for speaking Hebrew. We've seen swastikas drawn on school property. Other students have been spat on for speaking Hebrew. We've seen swastikas drawn on school property. Other students have been spat on for speaking Hebrew. We've seen swastikas drawn on school property.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
I'm Jewish, I'm Israeli, my mother's Israeli, I have family there, and honestly, we're in pain. our community was attacked.
Dr. Elizabeth Midlarski has been a professor of psychology at Columbia University's Teacher College for 28 years.
My main area is really altruism, compassion, caring.
Wednesday afternoon, her office walls were spray painted with symbols of hate.
I opened my door and right in front of me was a big red swastika. And I was, to put it mildly, shocked. And then there was one on another wall, and then there was the word on a third wall.
Midlarski has written extensively about the Holocaust throughout her career.
I'm writing chapters and articles, but not exactly the kind of thing that should get people incensed.
But sadly, this vandalism does not surprise her.
Are you surprised? You know, bias is going up, especially against Jews.
While crime is down citywide, the NYPD reports hate crimes has actually gone up 12% compared to this time last year, with anti-Semitic crimes spiking 29%.
I don't get frightened because I feel vulnerable for the first time in my life.
The professor called police but continued teaching her classes for the day. She says the outpouring of support from students helped get her through.
They've said that they're really with me, that they love me, and that they support me. It's beautiful. That part of it has been quite beautiful.
The professor says this isn't the first time her office has been targeted. She says 10 years ago, anti-Semitic flyers were put in her mailbox. From Morningside Heights, Allie Bauman, CBS 2 News.
Well, since the beginning of the conflict in the Middle East, Jewish students on college campuses say anti-Semitism is getting worse.
Yeah, some of those students at Columbia University are now speaking out. Fox5's Briella Tomasetti joins us from outside the university in Morningside Heights with the very latest. Briella, what's going on?
Yeah, Dan and Shani, good morning to both of you. The Anti-Defamation League has reported a nearly 400% increase in anti-Semitism since that war began on October 7th. The rise in hate rhetoric and the fear associated with it has become even more pronounced on college campuses.
Every day as I walk on campus, I feel dehumanized, I feel unheard, I feel unsafe, I feel abandoned.
As war rages on in the Middle East, there are growing tensions here at home, not only out on the streets during protests, but on college campuses where administrators are under increased pressure to address anti-Semitism.
With my own eyes, I have witnessed Columbia students resort to base bigotry. I've seen them parrot foul anti-Semitic tropes. The university's response has not been action, but empty statements.
Yesterday, a group of students from Columbia University and Barnard College held a press conference calling on their schools to do more to keep them safe. No politicians, lobbyists, or school faculty members were present.
The Jews. Those words were said not here on Amsterdam, not on Broadway. Those words were said in Jerome Green Hall, Columbia's law school building.
Jewish students say they've been subjected to dozens of anti-Semitic incidents on campus over the past few weeks. Among those incidents, a swastika was painted on a campus building and an Israeli student was physically attacked.
We are fighting with each other. I don't feel safe.
Students are accusing Columbia University of failing to respond to those threats or issue any consequences. They're calling for hate speech and violence to be enforced on campus and for more discussions on anti-Semitism. The university responded with a series of letters reading in part, "When this type of speech is unlawful or violates university rules, it will not be tolerated. We're using every available tool to keep our community safe, and that includes protecting our Jewish students from anti-Semitic discrimination or harassment."
Today, a large rally held this evening at Columbia University. Students there telling us they are protesting the anti-Semitism happening on campus and also around the country. They say it's important to keep the stories alive about what they're going through, but also what Israel experienced from day one of the war.
I don't know. I'm gonna do the first 2 days.
Excuse me. Hi, have you seen any signs of anti-Semitism in Columbia?
I don't know. I've been too busy with work to be noticing. Look, yeah, it's been inside. Free colonization.
don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
It doesn't even fit the rest of our ship. Okay, no, you're right. I gotta call it.
Wait, what? That's so. No, but do you remember they blocked like that?
But your kids are in school during the week. Yeah. It should be the opposite. Weekend should be free. All them were the tours management. That's what we think.
Especially on like the downtown. Like it might not even be like every 2 hours.
I know. Exactly. 12 hours traffic. So we heard you, so we thought, oh, I guess we can't get it either. And then this library's closed today. It's supposed to be open.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
Excuse me, have you noticed any signs of anti-Semitism in Colombia?
Not right now.
But you heard on the news they're saying that Jewish...
Aiden, Roslyn, that way.
Sorry to hold you.
No, I don't know.
Jewish students are living in fear and they have to hide themselves. I don't see...
I don't believe it. But Colombia is calling for it.
I mean, it's okay, but just like, you know, I was like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I don't really like it. No. It's like, you're from Atlanta, right? And I was like, yeah.
Excuse me, guys. Have you witnessed any anti-Semitism in Colombia? Thank you. Excuse me, guys. Have you witnessed any anti-Semitism in Colombia?
Not directly.
Thank you.
But thank you for asking.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
God is my witness. I'll never be hungry again.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
They don't just come in. No.
Excuse me, have you guys witnessed any anti-Semitism around here? Thank you. Excuse me. Hey man, have you noticed any sign of anti-Semitism in your travels? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's going on right now.
Yeah. I figure you going from door to door, you might see something. Thank you.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
Excuse me, guys. Excuse me.
Hello, sir.
You guys experience any anti-Semitism in your truck? Have you experienced any anti-Semitism? Every day, you said? I didn't see anything. The news is saying that Jewish people are living in fear because of anti-Semitism. The news is saying that Jewish people are living in fear of anti-Semitism. I went all around there. I'm asking everyone, where is it?
I really don't know. I don't see a damn thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Elizabeth Midlarski has been a professor of psychology at Columbia University's Teacher College for 28 years.
My main area is really altruism, compassion, caring.
Wednesday afternoon, her office walls were spray painted with symbols of hate.
I opened my door and right in front of me was a big red swastika. And I was, to put it mildly, shocked. And then there was one on another wall, and then there was the word.
The Anti-Defamation League has reported a nearly 400% increase in anti-Semitism since that war began on October 7th. The rise in hate rhetoric and the fear associated with it has become even more pronounced on college campuses.
Every day as I walk on campus, I feel dehumanized, I feel unheard, I feel unsafe, I feel abandoned. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I feel dehumanized, I feel unheard, I feel unsafe, I feel abandoned.
Today, a large rally held this evening at Columbia University. Students there telling us they are protesting the anti-Semitism happening on campus and also around the country. They say it's important to keep the stories alive about what they're going through, but also what Israel experienced from day one of the war.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
President of Columbia University, Manu Shafiq, is on Capitol Hill today facing questions from lawmakers about anti-Semitism on campus.
Yeah, the school became a hotbed for protests after Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th. Today, Shafiq has been talking about the challenges of drawing the line between what kind of speech is and is not allowed. NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ali Vitali joins us now from Repost. Ali, great to see you. So Columbia has this new policy, right, for safe demonstrations. They have a designated space for protest, but the Anti-Defamation League gave the university still a D grade for its efforts to combat anti-Semitism. So what is the president telling lawmakers today?
Well, look, we saw a tense start to this hearing. The hallway that I'm in has really been a hotbed of activity all morning. As you can see, some of the lawmakers are now outside meeting with students who have come down from Columbia. They are here in support of Gaza. They have continued to try to get into the hearing room. Meanwhile, inside the room, we are watching the Columbia president really try to toe that line between what constitutes free speech and what constitutes safety on her campus on this really controversial issue. Listen to just part of what she said to lawmakers today.
We must uphold freedom of speech because it's essential to our academic mission, but we cannot and shouldn't tolerate abuse of this privilege to harass and discriminate. There have been periods in history when anti-Semitism is in abeyance, and they were characterized by enlightened leadership, inclusive cultures, and clarity about rights and obligations. Those are the values I cherish and that I am determined to bring to Columbia.
In our national lead today, while many pro-Palestinian protests or anti-Israel protests have been peaceful across several U.S. colleges, Others, without question, have become hateful and threatening. Over the weekend at Yale University, a Jewish student journalist documenting a campus rally says a protester assaulted her, jabbing a Palestinian flag near her eye. A human chain then formed around her after she said she tried to confront the person.
Singing anti-Jewish, I guess, chants and cheers. And as they saw me, they noticed that I was videotaping and that I was being blockaded by their, co-ideologues. And so the students, in addition to the really aggressive human blockade, also began to harass and mock and taunt me. And they waved their hands and their middle finger in my camera and in my face, and they yelled at me. And then finally, one of the students, whose face was covered in a keffiyeh, took a Palestinian flag that he was holding and waved it in my face and then hit my left eye. And I immediately yelled, "He stabbed me in the eye," and I ran after him. And the human blockade continued to blockade me so that they wouldn't let me find the man who assaulted me.
At Columbia University in New York over the weekend, an Orthodox rabbi affiliated with the school urged Jewish students to leave campus for their own safety. Others at the school said that was not necessary. The Jewish Student Center, nonetheless, has NYPD protection and public safety escorts for anyone celebrating Passover. Tensions are so high, classes at the Ivy League school went virtual today.
This morning, police say at least 45 pro-Palestinian protesters were arrested at Yale University for violating Yale's policies and instructions. Police say they were later released. In a statement, the university adding that Yale does not tolerate behavior that threatened, harassed, or intimidated others. Meanwhile, at Columbia, today's classes were online only, with the university's president calling for a reset to de-escalate the rancor, while also adding more than 100 safety personnel to campus after more than 100 protesters were arrested last week. But with videos like this emerging online, and another showing a young woman holding a sign pointing in the direction of Jewish students saying Al-Qassam's next targets, Hamas's military wing, students Andrew Stein and Alicia Baker say they don't feel safe.
It was the most terrified I'd probably been in my entire life.
On Saturday night, Stein says he was on campus for a pro-Israel counter-protest when this happened. You see him in the white sweatshirt filming as a group of pro-Palestinian protesters yell expletives against Israel.
They started saying in Arabic, Hamas, Hamas, our beloved, please bomb Tel Aviv. And then they started saying, we're coming for you. No Zionists on this campus, get off campus.
Stein alleges the situation escalated.
Me and my friend had water poured, physically poured in our face. My friend was actually abused in the middle of campus.
On campus Monday, faculty from Barnard and Columbia came out in support of the pro-Palestinian students who were arrested and suspended last week.
We are calling for divestment. We're calling for a ceasefire.
Students inside the encampment told NBC News they were unaware of any physical or verbal threats towards students on Saturday night.
Anyone who makes any threat to any Jewish student, we oppose you. We do not associate with you.
Thank you. So I'm standing here right now with Katie. She is a senior here at Columbia University. She's also proudly Jewish. We have been chatting, staying in touch. Katie, I want to ask you, what have the past 24 hours been like for you and some of your peers?
They've been absolutely crazy, for starters, but just honestly disturbing and disgusting. The fact that not only we go to school with people who are so ignorant and uneducated, but on top of that, the administration really has sanctioned this. They've allowed this to go on. This has been an issue for months. It should have been stopped on October 8th, and the fact that it's still going on is just deplorable.
You saw that the encampment on campus yesterday finally shut down today. What was that like for you walking past that every day?
It just makes Jewish students feel hated and disgusted. You're walking by your fellow students. All of us recognize people who we go to class with every day who are calling for our genocide. They're all calling for us and our family members to be murdered and raped and beheaded and butchered. I mean, it's an indescribable feeling. And the fact that we allowed this to go on in the middle of the night while my friends and I are trying to study in libraries and go to sleep when we have tests the next day, and it's allowed to happen in the United States of America, it's absurd.
What are your thoughts on the university's handling of the situation?
thus far, until today, it's been absolutely inexcusable. There has been very, very limited sanctions on students, and there has been almost nothing done, clearly, because students obviously do not care. What's been done has shown that they're not willing to give serious consequences, and this is the consequence of that. Today, I'm very thankful that President Shafiq let the NYPD come on campus and do what the NYPD does best, and I'm very grateful that they came here to protect us, and grateful to all of our officers who fight and deal with this absurdness every day to keep us Jewish students and honestly just all students safe.
I know you're a senior, but if the cards were different for you, if you were a junior, a sophomore, would you stay here?
Absolutely not. I would transfer because I couldn't handle this. The thought of being here for another month is already sickening enough. I don't even want to go to my own graduation anymore, to be honest with you, because this is going to happen.
And before we go, Katie, the last question I want to ask you, just overall, describe for me how the Columbia Jewish community is feeling right now. I know that you mentioned yesterday when you spoke that a large percentage of the population, the student population here, is Jewish. Describe the sentiment.
We're scared. We're very upset that this has been allowed to happen, and we're terrified. These people have shown a complete disregard for rules. They've shown a complete disregard for authority, and people like that who have nothing to lose and don't care about what's right and what's wrong are dangerous, and they need to be handled, and I'm very grateful today that at least that handling has started, and I hope that President Shafiq and the President of Barnard, President Rosenberry, continue with this level of action. And so there are actually real-life consequences for these people, so Jewish students can feel safe where they deserve to feel safe at school.
So it sounds like you're not confident that this won't continue, even though some of the protesters have been removed.
Absolutely not. The people who have been removed today have been doing this for months. They don't care what the administration says, and they've made that clear. The administration sends an email and says, don't say things like globalize the Intifada, don't say things like from the river to the sea, and the next day they're saying those things on a megaphone. There's just a complete lack of regard for rules, and frankly, morality is what it comes down to.
Wow, Katie, thank you so much for sharing your lived experience. I really appreciate it. Martha, as you just heard right there, a Jewish student here at Columbia University saying she's scared and she feels like the university leadership has failed to take action. All the while, even though some of these student protesters have been removed, you can hear behind me chants continue, a chants to globalize the Intifada.
Excuse me. Hi. I heard you say that you're Jewish. Yeah. Can I ask you a question? Have you experienced, if you want to step away from that, have you experienced any anti-Semitism personally?
In my life, yes.
I'm talking about surrounding Columbia.
Zero. I'm serious. Absolutely none. In any of all these protests in the last few months, none whatsoever.
I saw you walk by. It's like, I got to
there are so many Jewish students, 50 Jewish students were among those arrested, and there's Jewish faculty supporting the protest. There's no anti-Semitism. That is just a fiction. I'm serious. I'm not making that up. I'm Jewish. Why would I make it up?
Who are calling for our genocide. They're all calling for us and our family members to be murdered and raped and beheaded and butchered. I mean...
So that's why I came. Because I have a friend who keeps telling me that it's real. I said, only when the cameras are around.
There are... First of all, there are people who believe that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, and that's not. There's a big difference, and that's how they feel. But yeah, I know, because there's like it's just.
How many people do you think it's asking the question that I'm asking? They're just going along with the flow.
No, it's a perfectly, that's perfectly, I didn't feel that you were, thank you for asking the question.
And thank you for answering, honestly.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
You know what, if I thought there was any anti-Semitism, I wouldn't, that wouldn't be good. But But I've also spent time I tell people this, my personal experience. I have spent a lot of time in Iraq. I've been in Syria 3 times. I've spent a lot of time in Jordan. And I never experienced or witnessed or overheard any anti-Semitism. You know, anti-Semitism originated in Europe. I have in my life experienced anti-Semitism, but in Europe and America. So I've never met an anti-Semitic or Palestinian person. People lived together there for 3,000 years together, whereas in Europe it was a different thing. And so people are not anti-Jewish. In fact, Iraqis are still upset about what happened. They're like, we miss our Jews. It was this whole awful political thing that the British triggered. So it's just it's tragic. But there is no anti-Semitism. I have seen so many signs. I've heard so many chants. People will say, Zion, Judaism, yes, Zionism, no. I mean, it's so clear.
Now, did I pay you to say this? You're being honest, right?
Yeah, I try to tell people this. Oh, you still work?
No.
You work. But so I did too, not like networks. But I was in that world, and I know what they do. Yeah.
So did you ever work for April?
No. I was an editorial photographer, so I was working for doing portraits and feature stories for like everything from life and parade to Vanity Fair and blah, blah, blah. And then I've done a lot of work as a photographer and documentary filmmaker about indigenous peoples. And actually the Caribbean is very interesting.
Avísame cuánto te debo.
Because I'm finishing a film about colonization that when it originated in the 15th century in Europe and blah, blah, blah. So, I've been immersed in all this stuff for a long time, so I have a lot of context for this. But yeah, the media, and they don't, I remember meeting this New York Times reporter who was covering northern Iraq and talking to him I was with the Human Rights Watch researcher for Iraq, and it's a Syrian leader, friend, who said he's not listening to me, so maybe if you guys can come to dinner and talk to him about what's really going on here. And we did. And the guy said, he was very arrogant, he's like, no, I'm just interested in politics. I'm just following the city sheet thing. We were trying to talk to him, and he was just like,
look at the media right here, right next to the fire hydrant. That's a little clue who they are.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much. I'm going to try to talk to some more people and find out. But you're not going to get the truth from the media. And you're not going to get the truth from the press office at Columbia.
Who's this?
Look, these guys, I'm going to ask them. Excuse me, guys.
Who are calling for our genocide. They're all calling for us and our family members to be murdered and raped and beheaded and butchered. I mean...
Have any of you encountered anti-Semitism at Columbia?
I'm not Jewish. None of us are Jewish.
It doesn't have to be. I'm not Jewish either, but have you ever seen swastikas in the bathrooms? No?
I've seen.
You've seen a swastika in the bathroom?
Where'd you see the swastika? Yeah, like, get out of here, Jews.
Written on the walls.
But I think they cleaned it very late.
But you saw it. What did you do when you saw that?
Well, I was shocked.
You what?
I was shocked.
So you saw what? Tell me what you saw.
Get out, Jewish pigs, or something like that.
Get out, Jewish pigs.
I guess there's always going to be assholes, sorry. There's always going to be a couple. In anything, there's always going to be a couple of bad apples.
Where's Ryan? But there's also a rise in Islamophobia in the same way. Like, I don't think it's just one. I just think there's a lot of
What became of that incident when you saw that? Was it in the bathroom, you said?
I think so, yeah. But this was long ago. Like I think because this.
How long ago?
This thing maybe last semester.
How long?
Maybe
last summer?
Semester. Yeah.
At this school?
Yeah, you go there.
Are you a journalist?
No, I don't believe what a journalist is telling me. That's why I want to talk. I'm talking to her. I just met her.
Okay.
And I'm just talking to real people on the street to see if anti-Semitism is real. So you're the first person that says you saw a sign, "Get out, Jews."
But he also said there's Islamophobia. And so I think the focus has been, and people are not talking about it.
You have extreme views in every direction.
Yeah.
So when you saw this, was there like a big thing?
No.
The principal came?
No, just like a tiny small sticker that some kid must have faced.
A sticker?
Yeah.
Not pink. You saw a sticker?
Yeah.
How big was the sticker?
This was long ago, I don't remember.
Was it a little sticker, a big sticker? A little one?
But in general, I also think, for a lot of Jewish people I talk to, sometimes they say like, oh, we'll hear stuff, and we don't necessarily think the person saying it knows it's anti-Semitic, but they feel targeted. Like you would hear protesters say from the river to the sea. I personally didn't think that was anti-Semitic, but for a lot of Jewish kids, it is.
Sorry for breaking up your talk.
It's okay.
Yeah, I was waiting.
You're on the way home?
Yeah, you're going there too?
Going around.
Oh, around. Okay.
All right. See you later.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for telling me that one.
Of
I
course.
appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Yeah, for me, and I've talked with a lot of, it's like equality and freedom for everyone between the river
Right,
and the
but
sea.
did you hear what he said at first? He said it was painted on the wall. And then it went down to a little sticker.
I wanted to get a little bit of...
And then he's like, he can't remember it. What do you think of that?
I think that one little tiny incident is one little tiny incident. It doesn't represent, there's always going to be one jerk.
Right.
I don't know if you're trying to prove their thing or what, but there's a lot of Islamophobia. A lot of the Zionists are very racist towards Arabs and Palestinians. And a lot of them are saying that Jews who are supporting the protesters are not really Jewish, aren't like real Jews. I mean, it's just crazy. Because I'll say, I'm Jewish and I support all of this. Well, you're not Jewish enough. The real Jews. It's just,
Yeah, it's like
So I think there has been no focus at all. Remember those 3 Palestinian students who were walking down the street in Vermont and were shot, and one of them was paralyzed? And there was a 6-year-old boy, I think before the holidays, who was stabbed to death by a racist landlord in Illinois. And nobody talks about that stuff. It's about, Jewish students who were raised super Zionist, and so any criticism of Israel, any language that doesn't conform to their liking, to them is threatening, even if it's not in fact anti-Semitism.
All right. Thanks again for talking to me.
Sure.
See if I can get more people to talk.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
Lincoln.
Lincoln?
Yeah.
Nice
that's
to
a
meet
pleasure.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Gwendolyn, yeah.
Gwendolyn?
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Excuse me. Where did you get this scarf?
I got it in the park a long time ago.
What's that?
The park, the Washington Square Park.
Ah, okay. Excuse me. Have you experienced any anti-Semitism at
No.
school? You haven't?
No, sir.
Excuse me. Have you guys experienced any anti-Semitism? No?
People were like notifying us.
Excuse me, guys. Have you guys experienced any anti-Semitism at school?
No.
No?
No.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
You're looking for people who are?
Yeah. And so far, nobody. Have you ever seen any swastikas in the bathrooms and the hallways?
No, but
I'm trying to figure out how real this is.
yeah. I'm not the best person to ask,
But you're a person.
yes, we're all people.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
But not.
Who are calling for our genocide. They're all calling for us and our family members to be murdered and raped and beheaded and butchered. I mean,
Excuse me. Have you seen any anti-Semitism at the school at all?
I personally haven't, but I'm sure it exists.
You sure? But you haven't personally?
Personally, no.
Thank you. Excuse me, have you guys experienced any anti-Semitism in the school? I'm speaking to everyone, nobody. Enough said. Thank you. Excuse me, sir. Have you personally experienced any anti-Semitism?
Sorry?
Have you personally experienced anti-Semitism in school?
Well, I'm not Jewish, so I would.
I'm saying, have you seen like swastikas?
No, I haven't seen any swastikas.
Jews go back home.
I'm not saying it's not possible that it's there, but I haven't seen it myself. It's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, but it's only on TV.
What's that?
When I speak to real people, but all the students
You can't tell that to people. People, you know how many calls I got hasn't answered today? But people say, "Oh, I'm watching the TV. I'm watching the TV." They don't understand that the TV spreads rhetoric. The TV, social media, is a whole agendas behind causing conflict. So, but you can't explain that to them. You know, people get triggered. They see stuff on TV and it forms a certain way and it triggers them. So
that's why I want to speak to real people.
Me personally, I haven't seen. I got calls all day. They're talking about, oh, there's violence against. I haven't seen that one Jewish student get hurt or hit or. Now I'm pretty sure they're hearing things that they don't like. I'm sure people are saying words that are hurtful. I'm pretty sure that's happening. But as far as people being harmed, I haven't seen. I'm not going to say that's not happening. Me personally, I haven't seen anybody get hurt. I haven't seen any reports of Jewish students getting jumped or hurt by any Palestinian people. I haven't seen that happen.
Thank you, man.
No problem, brother.
who are calling for our genocide. They're all calling for us and our family members to be murdered and raped and beheaded and butchered. I mean,
Jewish students getting jumped or hurt by any Palestinian people. I haven't seen that happen.
I'm not right on sidewalk. Have you seen any anti-Semitism yourself at the school? Thank you. Excuse me, guys. Have you seen any anti-Semitism yourself at the school? No. Thank you. Excuse me, guys. Have you guys experienced any anti-Semitism at the school?
No.
Personally, it's only on TV.
I mean, I feel like
we're not necessarily the demographic to experience anti-Semitism, but
I don't want to talk to any reporter or school person, like administration.
I think probably
I want to speak to real people.
Likely compared to the amount you're hearing on the media, it's probably a little less, or like you know, they're only highlighting when it happens. But
I just spoke to a security guard for the school. He gets all the reports, and he said he hasn't seen it. And as a security guard,
it gets played up a lot. That's for sure.
Exactly. For sure. What are you guys studying? Tell me engineering.
Economics.
Take care. Have you experienced any anti-Semitism at the school yourself? Oh. Have you experienced any anti-Semitism?
Yeah.
Yeah. Only on TV. Excuse me. Have you experienced any anti-Semitism at the school?
no, not at all.
None at all. Thank you, man.
Who are calling for our genocide. They're all calling for us and our family members to be murdered and raped and beheaded and butchered. I mean,
Excuse me, guys. Have you guys experienced any anti-Semitism at the school? No? Thank you. Excuse me, guys. Have you guys experienced any anti-Semitism at all? No. Excuse me.
Yes.
Have you guys personally experienced the anti-Semitism?
I got nothing to say about it.
No. All right. No problem.
Have a good day.
I was gonna forget.
Excuse me, guys. Do you go to school there? Columbia?
Yeah.
Have you experienced anti-Semitism personally?
I mean, just walking by all the protests you experience.
Well, the protests is one thing. I'm talking about in your regular day at school. Have you experienced?
Personally, I have not.
No. Thank you. But when you go by the protest,
I mean, yeah, like I'll stay on this side of the street, or like I now carry pepper spray just in case. As like a measure of safety.
Imagine how dry bagel was. Like so hard to
For real.
excuse me. Have you experienced any anti-Semitism at the school?
I'm a little bit busy.
Excuse me, guys. Can I ask you a question?
Sorry, nothing.
Excuse me. I'm trying to join your protest. Where do I get this scarf?
I'm sorry, we can't really help.
You can't?
It's always helpful. So, all right, I gotta run. We got places to the door here.
So what do you think they're doing now?
They what?
It's just not the way you talk. My dad said he never heard anyone say death to the South African state in the 60s. So
Fix them out.
Educate me.
What?
Educate me.
About this?
Yeah.
These are, some of them are Columbia students, some are not. And in theory, they're against the Israeli going into Gaza. But in reality, they're deeply anti-Jewish, and they hate the Jews here, and there's been a movement to make it extremely frightening. And what's happened now is that, first of all, a lot of Jews have left. There's a lot of Jews that are simply, I know there's been faculty members that have torn up their applications for next year. Some are just not going to come back after this is a Passover holiday starting now. Some are not going to come back. And I think it's going to be
How real is the anti-Semitism in your school?
So there's been for many, many years professors who are said very anti-Semitic and anti-Israel. The truth is Columbia University has not appropriately responded. They've built we're in a place where it's, I mean, it's almost chaos.
Excuse me. Are you guys against Israel or against Jews?
I'm against Israel. I'm against Israel occupying Palestine.
But you wouldn't say anything bad to a Jewish person, right?
I have no hate towards Jewish people. Jewish people, there's Jewish people in Palestine being bombed by the same entity that occupies Palestine.
But you're against the Israel political policies. If you saw a Jewish person in school,
Yeah,
you wouldn't say anything.
I wouldn't say nothing to Jewish people. Jewish people is Jewish people. I'm against Israel occupying Palestine.
Because the media is reporting that there's anti-Semitism.
It's not anti-Semitic to criticize Israel or Jewish people.
who are calling for our genocide. They're all calling for us and our family members to be murdered and raped and beheaded and butchered. I mean,
Excuse me, guys, can I ask you a question? You're against Israel or against Jews?
Not Jews.
Israel, right?
Yes,
Their
of
political
course.
policies.
Yeah, of course.
Now, if you're in school and you saw a Jewish person with a yarmulke, you wouldn't say anything bad.
No, not at all.
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, yeah,
right?
we appreciate you asking, but no.
Right.
We would never say
You
anything
wouldn't
bad.
draw a swastika.
Of course not.
That's why I came here.
Sorry, guys.
I don't trust the media. I want to talk to real people.
Really? Yeah, that's.
So you're against their
I respect
political
that.
policies.
Of course, of course.
But
Never
you have
about.
no hate towards Jews.
Of course not. Of course not. Thank you. Have a great night. Thank you for asking.
And thanks for talking.
Of course.
Who are calling for our genocide. They're all calling for us and our family members to be murdered and raped and beheaded and butchered. I mean,
This morning, Columbia University is boosting security ahead of the Passover holiday with more protests expected around campus. The school now adding 35 guards and more than 100 additional safety personnel. Pro-Palestinian demonstrators have gathered at the school since last week, rallying against the Israel-Hamas war. A rabbi associated with the university is now urging Jewish students to go home, saying Columbia University's public safety and the NYPD cannot guarantee Jewish students' safety. New York's mayor says he's horrified by the hate speech, but says because Columbia is private property, the NYPD can't stay on campus unless the school requests it. Police made multiple arrests at a protest near campus Saturday, days after arresting more than 100 people on campus.
Where's all the anti-Semitism?
What?
Where's the anti-Semitism?
I don't know.
That's what I came for.
Oh yeah? I really don't know. I don't know. Bro, you know it's all bullshit, bro. You're press.
Bullshit?
Right? Yeah, you're press.
No. New York bullshit?
Bro, you know it's all bullshit, bro. You're press.
Bullshit?
Right? Yeah, bro, you know it's all bullshit, bro.
Other students have been spat on for speaking Hebrew. We've seen swastikas drawn on school property. Other students have been spat on for speaking Hebrew. We've seen swastikas drawn on school property. Other students have been spat on for speaking Hebrew. We've seen swastikas drawn on school property.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
Where's the anti-Semitism?
Bro, you know it's all bullshit, bro. Bro, you know it's all bullshit, bro.
Where's the anti-Semitism?
I don't feel safe.